A loud slap cracked through first class like a gunshot. Little Zaria, just 5, stumbled back, clutching her cheek wide-eyed, stunned. The flight attendant, blonde and rigid, stood over her, seething. "I told you to sit down," she snapped. Dead silence followed. Eyes darted away. Heads lowered. People suddenly found the window clouds fascinating. Except one. The lavatory door swung open, and Dr. Amani Carter stepped out tall, composed, and visibly furious. She didn't yell. She didn't rush. She just walked up, looked the woman dead in the eye, and whispered, "Get your hands off my daughter." Now, here's the part where you might wonder what happens when a mother who's also the chief legal counsel for the airline sees her own child assaulted at 30,000 feet. Yeah, things get real. Amani wasn't just a mom on a business trip. She was a newly appointed legal chief of Sky West Airlines, a woman who'd spent 15 years clawing her way through a corporate world that wasn't built for women like her. Black, brilliant, unflinching. She'd come up through courtroom battles, survived backroom politics, and now she was here in first class watching her daughter get slapped by a woman in uniform on her very first day at this job. And what had Zaria done? Reached for her teddy bear. The turbulence knocked it 3 rows up, and the kid got up instinctively to retrieve it. That's it. Heather, that was the attendant's name, tried to walk it back once she realized who Amani was. Dr. Carter, I didn't know. I was following protocol. Seatbelt light was on. But Amani had already started recording. Calm, cold, lawyer mode. "My daughter's name is Zaria, and there's no protocol that justifies slapping a child." The rest of first class? Still silent. Still staring out the windows. Only one older woman glanced up sympathetic for a heartbeat, then quickly looked away. Then came the captain. Bradford Wells, 52. All practiced neutrality and deep-voiced authority. "Is there a problem here?" "Your employee assaulted my child," Amani said evenly. "I'm documenting it. I'll file a complaint the second we land." Heather started crumbling as soon as she saw Amani's company ID peeking out of her purse. That's when the pleading started. "It was turbulence. I didn't mean." "You slapped her," Amani cut in. Wells muttered something about assigning a new attendant. Heather was escorted away, visibly shaken. Zaria nestled into her mother's silk blouse, crying silently. Now, this wasn't Amani's first brush with discrimination, not even close, but it was definitely the most blatant. And she joined Sky West specifically to address this kind of rot from the inside. What she didn't expect was that her first case would be her own daughter. When the plane touched down, she didn't go to baggage claim, she went straight to the customer service desk. The guy behind the counter, Marcus, didn't even look up. "You can fill out a feedback form," he mumbled. "No," she said. "I need security and your supervisor. Your employee assaulted my daughter in the air." Even then, Marcus tried to downplay it. "Ma'am, let's not exaggerate." "I have video," she said, holding up her phone. Suddenly, Marcus got real helpful. Led her to a private lounge with stronger Wi-Fi so she could send the video to herself. Except, it wouldn't send. Wi-Fi strong, yes. File? Error. 5 tries in. Her fully charged phone went black. Dead. Impossible, unless someone had shut it down remotely. When she stepped out, there were 2 security officers waiting. And Heather, somehow already there. Somehow calm. Somehow spinning a new story. She was running in the aisle during turbulence, Heather whined. "I just guided her back to her seat." "Guided?" Amani snapped. "She has a red handprint on her face." And then came the gaslighting. "Children cry for all kinds of reasons," one of the officers shrugged. "Especially during turbulence." Amani noticed a man watching from the edge of the crowd, expensive suit, silver hair, speaking into a phone. Then gone. She was being watched. Marcus came back, this time addressing her as Dr. Carter with a weird smile. "You've got a big meeting tomorrow, don't you? Might be best not to escalate. For your sake." And just like that, Amani realized they knew everything. Not just her name, her schedule, her daughter. And they were moving fast. That night at the hotel, her phone buzzed with alerts. Articles were popping up. Sky West legal exec accuses innocent staff, twisting the story so she looked like the aggressor. The phone rang again. This time, Zaria's school principal. "We've noticed behavioral changes. Perhaps you're not providing the stable environment she needs. They were coming for her from every angle. Then her ex-husband called, angry, blaming her. I'm filing for custody, he said. Zaria needs stability. And then, as if someone timed to her mother, Eleanor called from Atlanta. Come home, she said, voice shaking. Bring Zaria. I can't, Amani whispered. They're trying to take everything. Then a knock on the door. Hotel management. Noise complaints, they said. Maybe a different hotel would be more appropriate. Evicted. Again. That night, Amani met Desiree, a senior flight attendant who slipped her a card earlier. You're not alone, it said. Turns out, Heather had done this before. More than once. To passengers of color. The airline buried it each time. Desiree and a small group of employees had been collecting evidence. They needed someone like Amani, someone who knew the law, who had standing, who wouldn't back down. But Sky West wasn't just pushing back. They were erasing videos, gaslighting witnesses, planting fake stories online. Even her presentation at the board meeting was sabotage her slides replaced with files labeling her a problematic employee. Still, she spoke. Off script. From memory. Called out their failures right to their faces. A few board members nodded. Most squirmed. Later, her office access was revoked. Her laptop flagged. A formal performance review was scheduled. The company had closed ranks. And then came the worst blow. She lost the custody hearing. The judge whose campaign was funded by Sky Westpac ruled against her. No mention of the slap. Just concerns about stability. She had 24 hours to turn over her daughter. Back in her hotel, Zaria whispered, Mommy, when can we go home? Amani barely held it together. That night, her daughter cried out in her sleep, over and over, don't hit me. Something broke in Amani that night. She realized this wasn't about just a slap. It was a war for the soul of the system, one little girl's dignity against a machine built to silence voices like hers. And so she fought. She met with the whistleblowers. Recovered deleted videos. Got affidavits. Dug into financial fraud. Connected the dots racial discrimination, evidence tampering, and millions in offshore kickbacks. Then, with one final act of bravery, she walked back into that boardroom, escorted by the company's own head of security, and laid out everything. They tried to shut her down. They failed. Heather burst in mid-meeting, ranting, exposing herself. Walter and Armstrong, the men behind the cover-up, were outed and arrested. The board, finally seeing the rot, voted to clean house. And Zaria? She stayed with her mom. Now, a year later, Sky West is a different airline. Training changed. Reporting systems revamped. Justice isn't perfect, but it's no longer impossible. As for Amani, she turned down the coalition job offer. Not because it wasn't worthy, but because she had unfinished business right where she was. Changing the system didn't mean walking away. It meant staying, building, protecting what they'd fought to create so Zaria, and every child like her could fly without fear. Now it's your turn. What would you have done if that slap landed on your child? Comment below if you've ever had to fight for justice alone. Hit like if you believe in protecting the powerless, no matter the cost. And subscribe if you want more stories of truth punching through silence.